Start streaming, go live. Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us. This is the wrong script. Hold on a second. Here we go. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for interesting and important happenings, to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The source of this information come from the smart device, come from the website on thisday.com. Sorry, I'm so used to the old intros and everything. For links to this source and anything else potentially interesting, please check the underbar of the description below. And, of course, all the stuff that we gather throughout the show will be posted there after the live stream. Anyway, I am Aoxander, and you, of course, are you, viewer. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate that. Today is Wednesday, a.k.a. Odin's Day, a.k.a. Wednesday, December 13th, 2023. So let's jump into the history, shall we? We're going to be starting off a little bit late this time around. 1266. We didn't have anything prior to that? Pretty sure we do, but it's not on this list here. Rebels held up inside Kenworth Castle surrendered after 172 days to Henry III, ending one of the longest sieges in medieval English history. Ooh, that's a long siege, 172 days. It's like half a year. Wow. For those who do not know sieges, you know, it's not really an attack. It's more like you surround an area, like be it a fort, a town, a city, whatever. Like you siege an area, and you prevent stuff from going in and coming out. So the siegees are completely reliant on their stockpiles, and they have to just wait it out. And it's just it's all about waiting for them to surrender, or in some cases, sieges can be broken with another army coming in from the back, and that has happened many times. And there's one historical event where the siegers actually became besieged themselves while besieging, and they had built a wall around themselves from the other army trying to break the siege. Pretty interesting stuff. Anyway, 1294, Saint Celestine V abdicated the papacy. After only 5 months, Celestine hoped to return to his previous life as an ascetic hermit. All right. Oh, what's a hermit? Always a hermit. I knew one of those. Moving on up to 1355, the greatest traveler of his age, Ibn Battuta of Tangier, completed his work, The Travels, detailing his 29 years spent traveling the Islamic world and beyond, including to India, China, and Indonesia. That's pretty interesting right there. 1541, John III succeeded his father as King of Portugal and the Algarves. At the age of 19, he reigned for 36 years until his death in 1557. All right. 1570, Sweden and Denmark signed the Peace of Stettin. Okay. Peace of Stettin. Let's look that up here really quick, just for hee-haws. Peace of Stettin. Oh, Nordic 7 Years' War. Peace was signed at Stettin, which is now Szczecin, Poland, in 1570, without change to any of the borders. Sweden was forced, however, to pay a large ransom to retrieve the fortress of Alsenborg, its only stronghold in the west. Before the peace was concluded, Eric XIV, accused of lunacy, yada yada yada. So if anybody wants to learn more about this Peace of Stettin, I'm gonna, let's see here, Peace of Stettin. And look at that. Well, I put in 2 E's, not 2 T's. Hold on a second. Stettin? No, Stettin. Alright. And look at that. Like, just a random, throwaway article. Actually, a wealth of information right there. Moving on up, what else do we got here? It's 1572. Spanish army defeated Guzan fleet, the confederacy of Calvinist Dutch nobles, under Admiral Lumi. And we were talking about a confederacy. I think this might have been the same confederacy of the nobles. I'm not entirely sure, but that's really interesting. Confederacy of Nobles. 1577, Francis Drake set sail from England on an epic 3-year circumnavigation of the world aboard the Pelican, which was later renamed the Golden Hind. And I remember we were talking about that, actually. Why do I have so many pings on Discord? Good lord, wow. Anyway, 1621, Emperor Ferdinand II delegated the first anti-Reformation decree. Okay, so, good old Martin Luther and his Lutheranism, Reformation and all that whatnot. 1636, the Massachusetts Bay Colony organized 3 militia regiments to defend the colony against the Pequot Indians. This is recognized today as the founding of the United States National Guard. Okay, well, happy birthday, National Guard. And I heard about somebody who was in, I believe he was he was in the reserves, I think. I'm not sure. But hey, anybody in the National Guard, here's the birth date of your unit or your organization. Pretty cool. Then we have 1642. Dutch explorer Abel Tasman sighted the South Island of present-day New Zealand. Initially, he called it Staten Island and changed it a year later to New Zealand. All right. That's an interesting, weird name. A weird way to pronounce it. Kind of like how Turkey is now Turkey or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, 1643, during the English Civil War, the Battle of Alton took place in Hampshire, not to be confused with New Hampshire, which is on the east coast of the U.S. So, and if anybody wants to know where the original Orléans is, or New Orleans, Orléans is in France, and I figured that out from Age of Empires while playing in the Joan of Arc campaign. Moving on up, 1732, Prussia joined Austria and Russia in signing the Treaty of Berlin, a secret treaty regarding succession to the Polish throne. Huh. Wonder what they were doing with Poland. Poland has always been under the gun for quite some time, haven't they? 1742, William IV, Prince of Orange, tested his mother's potatoes. Okay, that's a weird thing to document. Why was he testing the potatoes? Potato famine, maybe? Like, bits and pieces? Possibly that refers to Prince of Orange. His mother was... Okay, if anybody can figure out more about this, why he tested his mother's potatoes, that sounds like a euphemism for something nasty. 1759, first music store in America opened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or what would become Pennsylvania. Or actually, probably already it was Pennsylvania by then. But yeah, so music store, cool. And even then, they had signs, no stairway to heaven. 1769, Dartmouth College in New Hampshire received its charter. Hey, we spoke about New Hampshire prior, not too long ago actually. So alright, Dartmouth College. 1774, Paul Revere and Wentworth Chesdell rode to warn Portsmouth of the approach of the British warships. Two if by land, one if by sea. Or, I think so, yeah. The British are coming, and it wasn't just these two people. Paul Revere, gets most of the credit for all that, but it was a team. It was dozens, I believe, of riders going around, because think about it, one guy or even two guys going around warning everybody, that's impossible. They're not Santa Claus. 1816, a patent for a dry dock was issued to John Adamston in Boston. Alright, so dry dock technology. Alright, yep. 1864, War of the Triple Alliance. Paraguay officially declared war on Brazil and then invaded the next day. Well, that makes sense. 1879, where are we? We're in the 1870s now, actually. 1879, first federal fish hatching steamer, what? Launched. Federal fish hatching steamer. What does that even mean? What is a fish hatching steamer? Hold on a second. Fish hatching steamer. What materials are needed for fish hatching? A fish hawk? What? Okay, what is first fish hatchery? The Baird Hatchery? But this is an area, not a ship. What? Okay, if anybody can tell me what the hell a fish hatching steamer is, that'd be fantastic in the comments section. Let's see here. Do I have any comments? No, I do not. Oh, I do have a comment. Pete! Welcome! Woo! You know what? You just reminded me. I need to get my Christmas hat on. There we go. Thank you, Pete. What else do we got here? 1889, Belgium rules on women and child labor law. All right. Go for Belgium. 1895, first complete performance of Gustav Mahler's Second Symphony, Resurrection, in Berlin, Germany, conducted by the composer. And I believe this is the one he spent over a dozen years working on, because he initially released it and it was not really liked. And so he worked for like 12, 13 some odd years on it, and I think this might have been the first one, actually. Let's look this up. Gustav gives his first public piano, blah, blah, blah. First symphony. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Gustav Mahler premiered his first symphony at the Vegetal Concert Hall in Budapest, Hungary. It was not well received, and he revised it several times before publishing it 9 years later. Okay, so I was wrong with a dozen. But still, that's quite some time. So, 1889, and what is this? 1895. That's not the same one. Okay. Anyway, 1902, British and German ships bombarded Venezuelan forts after President Castro refused to comply with an ultimatum demanding damages caused during his takeover of the government in 1899. Castro asked U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt to arbitrate. All right. So, whatever we were doing in Venezuela. I don't really know much about history, like, really. There's so much stuff, like, people major in things like World War II, World War I, the Renaissance, Napoleonic Wars, Russia, stuff like that, but, like, man, there is so much history, it is astronomical. 1906, German Chancellor Bernhard von Bülow disbanded the parliament. Oh, that's not nice, and wouldn't be the last time that parliament was disbanded, I believe. 1913, British Foreign Secretary Edward Grey proposed that southern Albania be divided between Greece and Albania with compensation to Greece and the Aegean Islands. Huh. Okay. It's still, once again, a lot of history that, I don't know about. Like, I don't know much about the Greece things. 1916, an avalanche killed 10,000 Austrian and Italian troops in 24 hours in Tyrol, and that has got to be something involving the First World War. Because we spoke about a train just yesterday killing, 400 some odd Italian troops or whatever in the Alps. And yeah, the trenches stretched all the way up into there. They were fighting in the mountains, believe it or not. 1918, U.S. Army of Occupation crossed the Rhine and entered Germany. All right, the last, death throes of the First World War. The Great War, the war to end all wars. That just didn't end any war, just created as we all know, I mentioned this yesterday in the Discord server, World War II is, obviously just an extension of World War I. And I would argue, and a lot of people have agreed with me on this, that the Cold War and everything else, leading all the way up to right now, is all just aftershocks. So in essence, we've been fighting the same fight for well over a century, more or less. So, man, that Franz Ferdinand, assassination really stirred up the world, didn't it? 1919, Ross and Smith landed in Australia from a flight to London. Okay, Ross and Smith. Who's that? That sounds somewhat important. The Smith brothers ended their winning flight from the UK after departing. Okay, okay, so it was something about their flight. All right. Francis G. Pease in 1920 is interferometer at Mount Wilson Observatory was the first to measure the diameter of a star, the Betelgeuse. Oh yeah, Betelgeuse, one of the largest stars we know, I believe. Actually, probably not anymore. I'm not sure. But interferometer, that's a device. Let's look that up here. They are investigative tools used in many fields of science and engineering. They are called interferometers because they work by merging two or more sources of light to create an interference pattern, which can be measured and analyzed, hence interferometer or interferometer. Huh. Alright, we never really looked this up before, so okay. Interferometer. If anybody wants to learn more about that, interferometer. Or meter. I think I spelled that right. Anyway, moving on up to 1920, Hans Riegel founded sweet company Haribo, named after Hans Riegel Bonn in Bonn, Germany. So after these three, or actually, I guess, yeah, Hans Riegel in Bonn. So Haribo. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. Kind of like how Ore-Ida, is a merger of two names, and same as Frito-Lay was actually a merger of Fritos, which were their own thing. We all know the corn chip Fritos, and Lay's, the potato chips. They merged and they made Frito-Lay. So there you go. The more you know. Boop, 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 as Alice would say. 1920, the League of Nations established the International Court of Justice in The Hague. League of Nations, of course, being the predecessor to the United Nations and all that stuff. While that was happening in 1920 as well, the Netherlands broke contract with the Kingdom of Serbia, Croatia, and Slavia. Alright, more European politics happening over there. We also have 1922, Charles Ebbets proposed putting numbers on player sleeves or caps. So, player numerical system. And actually, we spoke not too long ago about the first time numbers were used on jerseys. Basketball jerseys, football, hawkers, just sports jerseys, stuff like that. 1928, the clip-on tie was designed, and I have a clip-on tie somewhere. Where is it? Let me go find it real quick. It's one from my childhood. Where is it? Where'd you go? Oh, come on! Don't tell me I lost it somewhere. Where is it? Whatever. It's somewhere. It's a small tie. So, yeah, whatever. Anyway, I have a clip-on tie, but it's like this long. But yeah, cool. So those who do not know how to tie ties, you know, I've been saving grace since 1928. I really do gotta learn how to tie a tie. There's a lot of ways to tie ties that really interest me. You know what? Let's hold on a second. Crazy tie. Let's see. Images. Hold on a second. Tie. Crazy tie. Oh yeah, dude. Look at some of these. Like, you know, you have a straight up rose. Like, some of these ties are just that is insane. Some of the ways you can tie a tie. I gotta learn some of these. Oh. Anyway, 1930 French government of André Tardieu fell for the second time. Oh, whoopsie. So, yeah. All right. So, bye-bye. 1930, George Sisler's career ended when Boston Braves released him. All right. So, Rip Sisler. 1936 National Football League Championship in Polo Grounds, New York City. Green Bay Packers defeated the Boston Redskins 21-6. Packers' fourth title. The Redskins moved to Washington, D.C. for the 1937 season. Wow, they got beaten so bad they went to another area. That's by the Packers, no less. And once again, like a little like fun fact, the Green Bay Packers are called such because of the packing company that sponsored their team in the early years. Oh, let's see. Fish hatching. Let's see here. It's just fish hatching steamer is quite literally that. A steamer used as a floating fish hatcher. That's a weird thing. Okay. I mean, I didn't think it was that simple, but apparently it was. So thank you, Pete's. I appreciate that. Huh. So I guess, like how would that work then? Like, they catch the fish and then they hatch them during mating season or something like that. Now, I wanna learn more about a fish hatching steamer now. You just opened up a Pandora's box in my brain that I cannot close now. What else do we got? 1937, Japanese troops conquered and plundered Nanjing, the Nanjing Massacre, which there's, you know, it's a question. Like, there's from what I've seen, there are some sources saying that this whole thing was a fabrication in order to demonize the Japanese even more. Not that they needed it at the time, but to also make China look like more of a victim. Not that they needed it. So I don't know. I don't really know. But like I would just err on the side that this happened, and it was an awful thing. 1938, Los Angeles, California froze at 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Whoa. Well, it's only 64 right now, and well, I'm not really in LA, but I'm not that far. But yeah, 28 degrees. It's gotten close to that. Back in my childhood, I remember when it got down to the high teens. It's been cold out here before. 1941, German occupiers forbade the National Front and Netherlands Union. Huh. Okay. While that was happening, Lawin battlers destroy Harz, Peru, causing 3,000 deaths. Whoa. Lawin battlers. Huh. What's going on with that? Let's do a surface level scratch of that thing right there. I don't want images. I want there. What happened December 3rd? Okay, it's not telling me that. Okay. Well, it's not even December 3rd, and it was 13th. Okay. Huh. Alright, 1942 National Football League Championship in Griffith Stadium, Washington, D.C. The Washington Redskins upset the Chicago Bears, 14-6. They upset them. Wah. 1942 as well, States in court allowed Dutch Nazi Anton Musier to call himself leader. That's a whoopsie right there. I'm pretty sure somebody paid for that decision with their life. What else do we got here? 1943, 150 U.S. Marauders bomb Schiphol. So obviously some kind of like here, the U.S. Marauders images. Or was it a? Huh? Was it a ground force? I thought they were airplanes. U.S. Marauders airplane. Is there an airplane? Martin, okay, there is a Marauder, and these do look like bombers. So I don't know. Maybe it was the bombers? But where is Schiphol? Schiphol map. Let's see here. Well, it's an airport. Shippo Country? It's not a country, it's a city. Okay, okay. Okay, it must have been the airport in Amsterdam, occupied Amsterdam. Alright, I think. Or Netherlands, or somewhere in I don't know. Anyway, 1944, Japanese kamikaze crash in the U.S. cruiser Nashville, killing 138. Yep. Japanese, and, them and their kamikazes. They didn't just have, kamikaze aircraft. They had suicide submarines and all that stuff. They were, they were the trailblazers for what Islamic extremists now use as their primary weapon of intimidation. 1947, Maine Turnpike opened to traffic. Okay, so if anybody uses that, this is when it started. 1949, the American League voted down proposal to revive the spitball. We spoke about that not too long ago, I believe just yesterday, or the day before. Spitballs, they've tried really hard to make the spitball legal multiple times. Oh, here we go, 1949 as well. Knesset voted to transfer Israel capital to Jerusalem. That didn't happen for a while, but it eventually did, and now Israel's capital is Jerusalem, I believe. No longer Tel Aviv. If it ever was Tel Aviv, I'm not sure. Caused a lot of upset. Yep. 1950, Let's Make an Opera opened at John Golden Theater in New York City, running for 5 performances. Well, it kind of reminds me of the producers. Let's make an awful stage. Well, let's make an opera. It didn't last that long. 1950, James Dean began his career as an appearance in a Pepsi commercial. Huh. So good old James Dean, later went to be known. Oh, he died in 24. Car accident. That's very young. So, but he became a really good actor, famous name, just from a Pepsi commercial. Let's not forget, Michael Jackson, his Pepsi commercial, really caught fire, so to speak. 1952, NFL Dallas Texans, formerly the New York Yanks, played their final game, losing 41-6, ouch, to the Lions in Detroit, finishing with a record of 1-11. Ugh. Yikes. Poor Texans. 1956, Anastasia, comeback film for Ingrid Bergman, was released in the U.S. Role won Bergman an Academy Award for Best Actress. Alright, cool. Anastasia, of course, being the daughter of Tsar Nicholas II, I believe. And when the Bolsheviks took over Russia, the communist uprising of the USSR, or the Soviet Union, or what would become the Soviet Union, led by Vladimir Lenin, of course. They went in and they killed all of those people and all that whatnot, and they didn't discover their skeletons for 100 or whatever years. So, Anastasia, the Lost Princess. 1956, Dodgers trade Jackie Robinson to the Giants for pitcher Dick Littlefield and $35,000. Robinson will retire rather than be traded. Yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah, I'm not even gonna go with the analogy I was going to, the whole slave trade and everything. I don't blame him not wanting to be traded. That's yeah. But what a name, Dick Littlefield. Huh. Yikes. What else do we got here? Okay, we got that. 1959, Archbishop Makaros was elected the first president of Cyprus, receiving 2/3 of the vote. Interesting. All right. 1960, Italy defeated U.S. in Davis Cup. The first time in 24 years the United States was not in the finals. Wow. Wow, they bumped us off pretty hard, didn't they? Let's see here. 1961, Gideon Hausner in Jerusalem demanded death penalty for Adolf Eichmann. Yeah, pretty expected. So, yep. 1961 as well, the Beatles signed a formal agreement to be managed by Brian Epstein, who has no relation to Jeffrey Epstein. So, we've gone down that path a couple of times, and from what I'm aware of, yeah. But still, there's an Epstein in the media. That's, 1962, Relay 1 communication satellite was launched. Relay 1 communication satellite, 1962, in the early days of satellites. Obviously a communication satellite. What is relay in satellite communication? Alright. If anybody wants to know more about this Relay 1 communication satellite, I'll add this to the underbar. Relay 1. Alright. What else do we got here? El Paso, 1964. In El Paso, Texas, Lyndon B. Johnson and Mexican President Gustavo Diaz Ordaz set off an explosion diverting the Rio Grande to reshape the U.S.-Mexico border. And I remember something like this. There is actually sovereign U.S. land disconnected across the Rio Grande from the U.S. Hold on a second. U.S. land across the Rio Grande. Because when originally the Rio Grande was on the other side, and then they averted it, and then there's a whole story behind it. I seen a video. Oops, hold on a second. Z copy. No, damn it. Copy. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can find this. U.S. land across the Rio Grande. Nope, that's not that. Hold on a second. History. Board. Mexico. Border change. Let's see if it's in my history, if I can find it. No. Rio Grande. Okay, here we go. Texas. No, the border. Here we go. Is this it? I was thinking of. The border town that I forgot. Yes. This is it. Rio Grande border change. I really would enjoy it if you guys would watch this video after this video, of course. But this is very informative. It goes on about like how this. I believe this is exactly what caused it here, because they did talk about a diversion thing that changed the direction of the Rio Grande to change the river. But now there's U.S. land on the other side of the river, so it's very interesting. And it's, of course, set off a whole slew of problems, which I'm going to rewatch this video myself later on. So, cause I want a refresher. 1966, first battle for Bijlmer Flats in Amsterdam. Huh. Okay. Whatever the hell that is. What is that? Never heard of a war in Amsterdam. What's going on? Okay, it's revisioning Amsterdam. I'm not sure. If anybody can figure out more about this, let me know. 1967, 1967, San Diego, California recorded snow at a 0 elevation as temperatures plunged 19 degrees Fahrenheit in 8 hours. Holy crap. That is very substantial right there. Wow. A 0 elevation, so that's sea level. So they're getting snow at sea level. That is cold. At San Diego? Huh. I wonder if Shenny remembers that. Well, I'm not sure if she said, "Oh, that was rude. I apologize." But no, like anyway, 1967, United Soccer Association and National Pro Soccer League merge in the NASL. All right, North American Soccer League, I believe. 1967 as well, unsuccessful coup against Greek King Constantine II. Okay. 1 year later, we have Brazilian President da Costa e Silva issued Ato Institucional Número 5 degree. Okay, numero 5, so that's 5. Let's look up this thing here really quick. Reservados los efectos. Okay, this is all in Spanish. Institutional Act Number 5, commonly known as AL5, was the 5th of 17 extra legal institutional acts issued by the military government in the years following the 1964 Brazilian coup d'etat. Whoa, that's a yikes. So let's add this in here. Institutional Act 5. All right. If anybody wants for further reading on that, the link, as I always say, will be post live stream. Let me put that there so I don't accidentally delete it. 1970, Neil Simon's play Gingerbread Lady, starring Maureen Stapleton, later received the Tony Award Best Actress, premiered on Broadway in New York City. Alright, we've always heard about gingerbread men with their gumdrop buttons, but we never heard about the gingerbread ladies. And here we do. 1971, John Sinclair is sentenced 10 years, sold 2 marijuana joints, was freed. Alright. And you know what? That's, I don't plan on selling this at all, but I run the risk. Why can't I open this? There we go. I run the risk of a 5-year sentence just by having this, I guess. So, yeah. Anyway, 1973, World Football League granted first franchise to Detroit. Alright. 1974, Malta became a republic. Cool. And I know about Malta from, I believe, the Call of Duty franchise, when you paradropped. Yeah, I believe from Call of Duty Airborne, I believe, because you paradropped into Malta. 1975, first time Saturday Night Live used a time delay Richard Pryor hosted. Okay, so live is not live anymore. And suddenly I have a craving for eggnog. I don't know why. 1975, Australian federal election. Liberals with coalition under Malcolm Fraser won the largest ever parliamentary majority. Well, knowing these people, they probably stole it. So, yeah, it's probably how they got. That kind of coincides with their claim. Oh, most popular president ever. Yeah, sure, buddy. Moving on up to 1976, Golden Gate Bridge District started ferry service to Larkspur. Okay. While that was going on, we have the longest non-stop passenger air flight, Sydney to San Francisco, 13 hours and 14 minutes. Wow. So, what is the longest non-stop passenger air flight? Longest non-stop passenger flights. Let's see here. It would be, Singapore to New York's John F. Kennedy. So that is, Singapore? But that's different. Sydney to San Francisco is not as long as Singapore to JFK. Okay. All right. What else do we got here? 1977, 14th University of Evansville basketball players died in a plane crash. Wow, that's awful. You travel with the team and you die with the team, I guess. A lot of instances of entire sports teams, or a good chunk of them dying in some kind of accident, be it on the road, in the air. And there's even one article I read to my memory of some Japanese sports team dying in some boat accident or something. It was a ferry boat. It wasn't like a sporting boat accident. No, they were being ferried to some other place, and then it hit something and they drowned. Awful stuff. 1978, CBS's premiere of Lovey, A Circle of Children Part 2, sequel to A Circle of Children, which was also based on Mary McCracken. And that sounds a little eyebrow-raising, especially with how today's world is. A Circle of Children, lovely. That didn't age well. 1979, Saudi Arabia raised marker crude price to $24 per barrel. Okay. And also in 1979, strikes against price increase in Gdansk, Poland. All right, I'm all for striking against prices increase. I don't like prices to increase. I remember when this used to cost $1, now it costs $2. So, 1981, Poland's authoritarian communist government declared martial law and arrests solidarity activists in a failed attempt to crush the opposition. That's very topical for today's world. 1982, earthquake hit northern Yemen, causing the deaths of 2,000 people. Yikes. That was well before the Richter scale, I believe. I'm not sure, actually. When was the Richter scale? When was the Richter scale? 1934, so well before that. So let's see if we can figure out how there's much this intensity. North Yemen earthquake. Okay, here we go. Let's see, it's 6.2. That is nothing to sneeze at. So, yeah. North, 1982, North Yemen quake. Alright. Not to be confused with the Quake the game. 1983, 9,655 people saw the highest scoring NBA game. We spoke about the second highest scoring just a few days ago. We looked this up, and here it is. Detroit at 186 and Denver at 184 in triple overtime. So that is pretty substantial game right there. While that was going on, Martha Lane Collins was inaugurated as Kentucky's first female governor. All right, cool. 1984, an artificial heart recipient, William Schroeder, suffered his first stroke. That's not good. I wonder if the artificial heart had anything to do with that. I don't know. If anybody knows a little bit more about this, if they can figure it out, I'm going to do a surface level. Yeah. It says here, after 18 days, he suffered the first of a series of strokes, eventually leaving him in a vegetative state. Yikes. He died on August 7th, 1986 at 1:35 p.m. of a lung infection, a year and 255 days, or a total of 620 days, after receiving the Jarvik 7. This was the longest that anyone had survived with an artificial heart at that time. So, William Day Schroeder. Alright, so if anybody wants to learn more about this guy, our first fake heart. You know, artificial heart, fake heart, whatever. 1987, Browns set a club record for most points scored in a quarter at 28. I wonder if, let's see, record for most points scored in a quarter. Let's see here. The Browns were football, right? I'm not sure. So now we have 58 of the Boston Celtics back in 1972. Okay, but I don't. That's a basketball. I think this is a, and that's club record. So why is this even in here? I don't care about their club. Let me get that out of there. Let's see here. 1988, 3 men ended a 29-hour, all 466 station subway ride in New York City. Huh. Wow. Wow, that's pretty cool. I'd like to do that. I'd like to ride at the subway. You know, hit every station in all of New York. I wonder if it'll take longer than 29 hours now. Probably. I'm not sure. And, you know, how many subway stations are in New York? Let's look this up here. How many subway stations New York City? So this was 466. Now we're at 472. So not much farther, but or not much more, but still, you know, I'd like to do that one day. You know, try to break that record. Now I have the David Rush spirit in me. I want to start collecting records. 1989, the last issue of Gnisten, the Spark, the organ of the Solidaritet, was published in Sweden. And I know I did not pronounce that correctly at all. I don't give a damn because I don't speak that language, and I don't know how to. That's a hell of a word right there. 1989 as well, the Walter Davis Denver ended NBA free throw streak of 53 games. All right. 1990, South African President F.W.E. de Klerk met with Nelson Mandela to discuss the end of apartheid. Hell yes! Cheers! Yes! The end of apartheid. Awful, disgusting thing in history. But, yeah. And F.W. de Klerk, not to be confused with P.W. Botha. F.W. de Klerk was the good guy, I believe. This is 1990. Yeah, was he? Yeah. So, yeah, P.W. Botha was the other guy who was completely apartheid. All about that. Let's see here. What else do we have here? 1990 as well. U.S. Secretary of State Baker questioned Iraq's seriousness about Middle East peace. Well, I mean, obviously they weren't serious. So we all know what happened. Moving on up to 1991, both North and South Korea signed an accord calling for reconciliation. Well, I wonder if anything came of that. I'm not sure because they're still North and South. They didn't really reconcile. They're still technically at war, just in a ceasefire. So, and by that technicality, we, the United States of America, are still at war with North Korea through our South Korean ally, which also, exemplifies the mind-blowing action of when Trump stepped over that border and was on North Korean side. Actively, the leader of, not only the most powerful man on earth, not only the leader of the free nation, but now he is, in his polar opposite, the yin to his yang, and they're still technically at war. So that's, take with that what you will. I still think Donald Trump is just a dancing monkey on the stage, and all of that was just giant, just to garner more support and all that stuff. It's all show and dance, all of it. So anyway, moving on up, 1991 as well, New York Assembly Speaker Mel Miller was convicted of federal mail fraud. All right. We also have Ricky Pierce of Seattle ended NBA free throw streak of 75 games. That is quite a streak right there. And moving on up to 1992, FCC fined Infinity Broadcasting $600,000. Yikes. 1993, I swear by the moon and the stars and the sun. I think that's the same song, I'm not sure. Single released by John Michael Montgomery, later received the Billboard Song of the Year. And I know you probably never want to hear me sing again, audience, but too bad. I'm without any form of shame. Swear. Is this the same song? Let's see here. It is not the same song. So I need to go watch that. I sung a completely wrong song. 1993 as well. Deadline for Israeli troop withdrawal from Gaza. They don't. Typical. You know? Like, yeah, that was 93. The Loon seems to be under the impression that they did withdraw from Gaza, but they didn't. And even though right here, like, I've showed this to him, he's like, oh, well, they're wrong. I'm like, oh, well, no, they're not. You know, Israel is a conqueror's nation. So, I mean, you know, if I'm wrong, prove it to me. Show me a map of Israel didn't completely conquer and take over Palestine. Show me a map of, you know, the earth where Palestine is even recognized anymore. You know? Like, if I'm wrong, prove it to me. 1993, fire in textile factory in Fuzhou, China. 60 people were killed. Yikes. 94, American Eagle commuter. I almost said American Eagle Outfitter, like the AEO before me. American Eagle commuter plane crashed in in North Carolina. Wow, am I having a stroke? Killing 15. Yikes. 1 year after that, Christopher Lee. God damn, not Lee. Okay, take a deep breath, Xander. Why are you misreading things so bad today? Maybe I'm not high enough. Christopher Reeve was released from physical rehab center after his fall from his horse in a riding competition, and he was paralyzed from the neck down for the rest of his life. Because of that, he was the original actor to the silver screen Superman. So, yeah, as well as Somewhere in Time, Street Smart, and The Remains of the Day. But yeah, his claim to fame was his role as Superman, and the irony of the situation: Superman can't walk, you know. But then, you know, South Park gave him superpowers, and then Gene Hackman had to send him off into oblivion in the 2D diamond in the sky. So, yeah. 1995, U.S. federal court voted that cable companies must carry local stations. Yes, I agree with that. 100%. 2000, in the year 2000, American Vice President Al Gore delivered his concession speech, effectively ending his hopes of becoming the 43rd President of the United States. It's Mandarin Pig, I'm super ethereal! Nobody take me ethereal! Hey, Mandarin Pig! 2000 as well, the Texas 7 escaped from the John Connolly unit near Kennedy, Texas, after going on a crime spree and killing police officer Aubrey Hawkins. Yikes. I hope they caught them again. 2001, A Beautiful Mind. I gotta watch that movie again, actually. Hold on a second. Let me bring that up. A Beautiful Mind. Because I remember seeing that movie as a kid, and I didn't really fully understand it. All I remember is it was really, really smart, and he did mathematical equations on a window for whatever reason. So let me add that to my movies section here. Where is it? Movie nights. There we go. I gotta watch that. But yeah, A Beautiful Mind. Where did it go? 2001. Here we go. Based on the biopic, by Sylvia Nassar, directed by Ron Howard and starring Russell Crowe, premiered in Los Angeles, Best Picture of 2002. Russell Crowe! Oh, I didn't know he was in A Beautiful Mind. Fighting around the world. 2001 as well, Indian Parliament said attacked by terrorists. 15 people were killed, including all the terrorists. Okay, so apart from the innocents who died, I guess the trash took itself out. 2002, the European Union announced that Cyprus, the Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Poland, Slovakia, and Slovenia will become members as of May 1st, 2004. Alright, good old EU. Expanding forever. And, well, until they completely take over Europe. And that reminds me, I'm going to talk about this. What was it? What was it that Jacob said here? Well, I mean, when you engage in a conflict and lose, I can't really argue with you losing territory, just saying. I mean, like, yeah, but I mean, well, we'll talk about that later. Sorry for hitting the mic. We'll talk about that later, Mr. Peets. That's more of a conversation for the Rumble Peanut or something. But anyway, what was I talking about? Turkey withdrew from NATO, from what I heard. So that's something else I want to talk about in the Rumble Peanut. Moving on up to 2003, former Iraqi President Saddam Hussein was captured near his hometown of Tikrit during Operation Red Dawn by U.S. forces. We got him. Oh, yep. He was found in his little Spidey hidey hole. 2004, Former Chilean dictator General Augusto Pinochet was put under house arrest after being sued under accusations over 9 kidnapping actions and manslaughter. The house arrest was lifted the same day on appeal. Wow. They should have executed that guy. Anything involving children, you know, once you start messing with children, you're done. As far as I'm concerned, that's an executionable offense. 2006, the Baji, or Chinese river dolphin, was officially announced as extinct. Oh. 2007, the Mitchell Report is publicly released, listing the names of 89 Major League Baseball players that have presumably used anabolic steroids and human growth hormones. Notable players named included Roger Clemens and Miguel Tejada. All right, don't dope. Simple as that. 2012, Japan scrambled fighter jets in response to a Chinese plane in the Senkaku Islands disputes. Yeah, well, China has been, extremely aggressive for longer than people have realized. 2014, divisions emerged between rich and poor nations at the UN climate change talks in Peru. Well, yeah, all this climate change, climate activist crap, that's only because, first world nations have the ability to do so. When you really talk about nitty-gritty, actual, meaningful, substantial stuff the world needs to pay attention to, only the third world sees it. Because we are without strife for the most part, and we don't know what a hard time truly is. We just got to make up a whole bunch of bullshit to make ourselves occupied. So, it's a Man-Bear Pig on Super Cereal. 2014, Fatou Bensouda, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, criticized UN Security Council for its lack of action over war crimes in the Darfur region of Sudan. Yep. Yeah, war crimes and crimes against humanity and stuff happen all over the place every single day. Very few of them actually get noticed. What else do we have? 2014 as well, the British government announced it will send hundreds of troops to Iraq to train Iraqi and Kurdish forces in the conflict with the Islamic State. Alright. Okay, cool. 2015, Irishman Conor McGregor knocked out Brazilian Jose Aldo in 13 seconds to win his first featherweight title in Las Vegas. And now Conor McGregor might be running for, Irish office. That's pretty interesting. Tough guy. 2016, UN claims 82 civilians have been summarily executed in Aleppo by pro-government forces. Yikes. I hope something happened from that. 2017, Democratic Republic of Congo jailed for life 11 militiamen for struggle snuggling 40 children, including a local MP, military or municipal person. I'm not sure. MP, some kind of prime minister or something. Keep forgetting, what does MP stand for? What does MP stand for politics? MP, member of parliament. Okay, there you go. Including a local member of parliament. Yikes. But yeah, struggle snuggling, as I said, children, these people are these people are lucky they got jailed for life. If I was there, execution. As soon as you do something bad to a child, you are dead meat to me. 2017, online dictionary, Merriam-Webster's most searched word of the year is feminism. It sounds like propaganda. Of course, they'll say something like that in order to push more normalization. 2017, prehistoric bones of a penguin as tall as a human, 1.77 meters. Let's look that up here. Meters to feet. 1.77 meters. Let's see. To feet. Okay, that's yard. Hold on a second. Feet. 5.8 feet. Wow, that's almost as tall as me. That is a big penguin. Was found at Otago Beach, New Zealand, reported in Nature Communications. Okay, so, penguin. Tall penguin. Prehistoric. Let's see if I can find any. Ooh, let's see. Okay. That's a big penguin right there. Huh. Alright. Yeah, 1.5 meters. That is a tall penguin. It's a ripped-looking penguin too. Dang. Wow. That's kind of scary. I didn't know penguins were so big. Then there's a giant penguin that's bigger than a wow. That's terrifying. They can hunt us. Yikes. 2017, scientists began Scientists began checking interstellar asteroid Oumuamua for signs of alien technology through radio signals. Later studies concluded it is a piece of sliced off planet. That's bullshit. They wouldn't tell us if it was anyway. A sliced off planet, but then who sliced the planet? How did the planet get sliced? And then why did it come in, use the sun as a slingshot, like an interstellar object, or like a colony ship or something, I ain't buying that. This is crap. 2018, Apple announced a new $1 billion campus in Austin, Texas, and expansion in other U.S. cities. That's what I'm saying. Texas is gonna fall. The rest of Texas, they may be as conservative and gun-toting hoo-ha as they can get. Austin makes the laws, so everybody has to go fall in line unless they change Austin. So Texas will fall unless people start standing up and doing what they should have been doing since the dawn of time. So 2018 ceasefire in port city of Hodeidah, Yemen, by Houthi rebels and Saudi-led coalition announced by the UN. All right. 2018, German basketball forward Dick Nowitzki took the court for his record 21st NBA season with the Dallas Mavericks, surpassing Kobe Bryant's 20 season with the LA Lakers. All right. Rest in peace, Kobe, Black Mamba. 2018 as well, U.S. Senate passed non-binding war powers resolution against long-term ally Saudi Arabia. They are not our ally. Not by any stretch of the imagination. They're working with China and Russia to make their own petrodollar backed by gold to eventually overthrow the U.S. petrodollar, which is backed by itself. So, we think we're living through hard times now. We are in the daisy fields having a jolly old picnic compared to what's around the corner. 2021, Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, named Time's Person of the Year. Once again, fitting with how Time, how they view people's, of the year, whatever, with, 2022, first nuclear fusion reaction in a laboratory setting, replicating the same energy that powers the sun, announced by scientists at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California. Just this time last year. Yeah, we were talking about cold fusion, actually, on the Peanuts, I believe, last Sunday. So, yeah, go give that a check out after this show. 2022 as well, New Zealand passed world's first tobacco ban, outlawing smoking for those born after 2009. Wow. Well, good luck with that. Once you make something banned, now all you're doing is creating a black market. You can't ban anything. All you can do is regulate it. 2022, Sam Beckman-Fried, founder of the collapsed cryptocurrency exchange FTX, I remember this, was arrested in the Bahamas after U.S. filed criminal charges against him, including wire fraud and money laundering. And I think the replications of this is still reverberating, ongoing hard throughout today's world. They screwed a lot of people over, including Tom Brady. Yeah, how's it feel being deflated, Tom Brady? 2022, Brandon signed the Respect for Marriage Act into law, mandating federal recognition of same-sex marriages in ceremony at the White House. Whoop-dee-doo. And then, last but not least, 2022, just last year, Washington Capitals center Alex Ovechkin scored a hat trick in a 7-3 away win over the Chicago Blackhawks to join Wayne Gretzky and Gordie Howe as the only players in NHL history to score 800 goals. Holy shit. Finally, we got an Alex in there. Woo! Yeah, Wayne Gretzky and Gordie Howe. Those are some big names to fill shoes next to. Congratulations, man. You know what? I'm going to give you a cheer. That is remarkable. I'm not even a hockey fan, but Alex has kind of got me paying attention to that. Congratulations. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar in the description below for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. We're not just on YouTube, we're not just on Rumble, we're also on BitChute, and we are on Odyssey. By the way, I noticed that our link tree is censoring BitChute. Actually, let me pull it up here if I can bring it up real quick. Where is it? Here it is. Linktree. Log in. Hold on a second. All right, there we go. So right there, BitChute's unsafe URL. What the hell? And it takes it off. Rumble, Odyssey, and YouTube. It's not even. It hasn't. I don't know how long it hasn't been viewable on the Linktree. So all the people wondering why the BitChute wasn't on Linktree, this is why. they are actively censoring it. So anybody who uses Linktree, you know, be careful. But to counteract that, I now have in the underbar, you know, links to all of our sources down in there. So anyway, yeah, for your dose of Passive Edge Daily, we stream almost every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and of course, you viewer are you, and thank you very much once again, Jacob Peets, for coming and watching. I appreciate that. Anyone else wants to get named, start leaving comments, start getting noticed. But yeah, until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, be it another history show, TOCNS, KTP, ThEoD, TOK, INOSH, any of the other programs we do, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!